Welcome back to Mr. DuPage's classroom. This lesson is for my Algebra 1 class. It is 8.3, 8.4, Multiplication Properties of Exponents. Today we're going to explore how we multiply and raise exponents to other exponents. All right. So the product of powers for any number a and integers m and n, a raised to the m times a raised to the n will equal a raised to the m plus n. What that means is when we multiply terms with like bases. What like bases are, if you look at the examples, x and x are like bases. Then we are going to add the exponents. So x to the third times x to the fifth will get us x to the eighth. 4 to the fifth times 4 to the third would get us 4 to the eighth. 7 to the negative third times 7 to the sixth times 7 to the 10th will get us 7 to the 13th. Now, we can't really leave those as 4 to the 8th and 7 to the 13th when we do our actual problems. I'm going to leave them like that for now just so you guys can see how those work, okay? So we're going to go ahead and try this. Rewrite each expression using each base only once. So we have m to the third times m to the 11th, which will get us m to the 14th. We have 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 7th, which would be 2. Remember, we're going to add 5 and 7, so 2 to the 12th. Number 3, 6 to the 2nd times 6 to the 3rd. If there is not an exponent, there's always a 1 hidden up there. So I have 2 plus 1 plus 3, so 6. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 3 is 6. So 6 to the 6th power. All right. Multiplying power is an algebraic expression. Multiply the coefficients and multiply the like bases or the variables by adding exponents. So we're going to do the same thing that we did up top as far as how our exponents are treated, but now we're going to go ahead and multiply those coefficients. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 3, that will get me 6. Then I have x squared times x to the 6th. Remember, if they have like bases, then I'm going to add the exponents. So that would be x, 2 plus 6 is 8. So it would be 6 times x to the 8th. All right? On to the second example, 4x times 2y to the third times 3x to the 8th. So 4 times 2 is 8 times 3 is 24. I have x, y to the third, and x to the 8th. So I'm going to take the two x's and multiply them together, which means I'm going to add their exponents, which is 1 and 8. So I'll have x to the 9th. And then the y is by itself, so it would be y to the third. Okay? I want you guys to go ahead and try 1, 2, and 3 on your own. Give it a shot. Pause the video for a few minutes and see how you can do. All right, let's see how you did. I'm going to multiply my coefficients. Remember, if there's no coefficient out front, it's just ones. So 1 times 7 will get me 7. N to the second times n to the third times n to the first. So 2 plus 3 plus 1. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So 7 n to the 6th. Number 2, I have 2 times 7, which is 14, times 2, which is 28. I have y to the third and y to the fourth. Remember, when I have two variables, I want to write them alphabetically. So I'm going to use the x first. There's only one x in this situation, so it would be x squared. Now I'm going to look at the y's. I have y to the third and y to the fourth. So 3 plus 4 is 7. Number 3, I have 3 times 3, which is 9. I have x squared and x, so 2 plus 1 is going to get me x to the third. Then I'm going to work with my y, a y by itself, and then I have z to the fifth. So it'll be 9 times x to the third times y times z to the fifth. Okay? A power of a power. For any variable a and integers m and n, just means any numbers for m and n, if I have a raised to the m power, raised, that whole thing is raised to the n power, then I'm going to multiply m and n. So when we raise a power to a power, we will multiply the exponents. So for the first example, I have x to the third raised to the fifth. I'm going to take the 3 and the 5 and multiply them together. So I'll have x to the 15th. I have 5, 4 times 2, so it would be 5 to the 8th. Okay. Let's try this real quick. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 7. So it'd be a to the 28th. I'm going to take, okay, on this problem we have to use order of operations. Well, order of operations tells us parentheses, exponents. So I'm actually going to take the 2 times 2 first. So I'll have x to the third times x to the second raised to the second would be x to the fourth. So now I have x to the third times x to the fourth. Remember, when we're actually multiplying the bases together, we're going to add the exponents. So that will end up being x to the seventh. Okay. On to number 3, I'm going to take 3 times 5, so I have y to the 15th. I'm going to take 2 times 6, so I have y to the 12th. Again, I'm actually multiplying the bases, so I'll add the exponents, so it would be y to the 27th. Okay? Let's move on to the back. Raising a product to a power. For any number a and b, and integers m, n, and p, if I have a raised to the m and b raised to the n, all of that is raised to the p, then I will get a raised to the m times the p and b raised to the n times the p. So when we raise monomials to a power, the power applies to all factors. What that means, let's look at the examples real quick. I'm going to take the 3 times the 5 to find out what my x will be raised to. So x, 3 times the 5, because it's a power to a power, is going to be 15. Then I'm going to take the y squared raised to the 5th. So 2 times 5 will get me 10. Okay. On to the next one, I'll take the 5 and raise it to the third power. I'll take the y and raise it to the third power. I do not want to leave that 5 just raised to the third power. So what 5 raised to the third power is 125 y to the third. Okay? That's how you need to write your answer every time that I actually have a number raised to a power. Okay? So let's try number 1. It would be 2 raised to the fourth and z raised to the fourth. I do not want to leave 2 raised to the fourth as 2 raised to the fourth, so it'll be 16 z to the fourth. Here I'm going to have 4 raised to the second, which is 16. I have x to the 5th raised to the second, so I'm going to take the 5 times the 2, so my x would be raised to the 10th. Number 3, I'm going to have the negative 3 raised to the third. I'm going to have the y raised to the third. Well, 3 raised to the third is 27. Anytime that my exponent is odd and my coefficient is negative, my number is actually going to stay negative, so this would be negative 27 y to the third. So now the last section, we're going to use all the properties. Okay. So the first step is going to be this x squared squared. So I'm going to take 2 times 2, which would get me x to the fourth, times, I'm going to have 3 raised to the fourth power. Well, 3 raised to the fourth power is 81. I have x raised to the fourth power, so that will be x to the fourth. And I have y squared raised to the fourth power, so that will be y to the 8th. Now what I need to do is go ahead and multiply my bases. So I'll have 81. And I have x to the fourth and x to the fourth. Remember, when I multiply bases, I add the exponents. So I have 81 x to the 8th, y to the 8th. For the second one, I have c squared raised to the third, so that's really c to the 6th, times 3 raised to the 4th, and then I have c to the 5th raised to the 4th, which is c to the 20th. Well, c raised to the 4th power, or 3 raised to the 4th power, I'm sorry, is going to be 81. Then I have c to the 6th and c to the 20th. I'm going to add my exponents, so it would be c to the 26th. Finally, the last two. Let's go ahead and just do those together. I'm going to have 2 raised to the 5th, a raised to the 3rd raised to the 5th, so that will be a raised to the 15th. I have 3 raised to the 3rd, which is, I'll just leave it as 3 raised to the 3rd for now. A raised to the 3rd, and b squared raised to the 3rd. Well, b squared raised to the 3rd will be b to the 6th. 2 raised to the 5th power is 32. Let's go ahead and start combining some things here. So the next thing I'm going to look at is my 3 raised to the third, which is 27. I have my a to the 15th times my a to the third, so that would be a to the 18th, and then I have my b to the 6th. From here, I have to multiply my 32 and my 27, so I have 864, a raised to the 18th, b raised to the 6th. Finally, our last problem, I'm going to have 6 raised to the third, m raised to the third, and n raised to the third, times 5 squared. I have m squared raised to the second power, which would be m to the fourth. Well, 6 raised to the third power would be 216. Then I have my 5 squared, which is 25. Now I have my m to the third and m to the fourth, which would get me m to the seventh. And then I have my n to the third. 216 times 25 is 5,400. M to the seventh, n to the third, and that is it. So what you need to remember from this lesson is that if I multiply the two bases that have exponents, then I'm going to add the two exponents. If I raise an exponent to a power, so if I have x to the third raised to the third, then I'm actually going to multiply my two exponents. And then if I have a product raised to a power, everything inside the parentheses will be raised to whatever power is outside the parentheses. If you have any questions over this stuff, please make sure you come in and ask me. Do not be confused by these things, guys. They are going to be here all year. Well, thank you very much for watching the video, and have a great day.